We got a special guest here today. We'll allow you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
My name is Athena Marie Taylor, aka Miss Lady Dove.
Ooh, that's a lot of names.
Yeah.
So what we want to ask you is we want to get like a background of what made Dove the woman she is today.
Um, so I have an extensive background, and to go back to my namesake, if you knew me as Athena, you knew me back in the day. If you know me as Dove, you know me now. You knew me from 27 plus years, maybe 4 years into that, you know. And it's a beautiful story behind my name change. And I feel like, so I'll go to your question first and remind me to come back to my new name given by the Holy Ghost. So, what brought me to this information was my husband, Andre Taylor. So we met, it was a Super Bowl Sunday.
Ah, shoot.
Well, Super Bowl weekend, right? I was out with a friend. It was a guy friend, and we were just friends. And I was just out and about, not looking no special kind of way, just out chilling, just getting away, just getting out, because I rarely did at that time. And because my party, pretty much party days was over at that point with 3 kids and all that. And I'm at the club, and my friend sees his friend at the club, and so I guess my friend I was with, he used to bounce at clubs. And the guy at the club, they knew each other. As we were walking by, he was like, man, we need some help. Long story short, he helped, asked if I wanted to go home and change or if it was okay. I was like, no, go ahead, I'm cool. I'll go in the club. Girls is all dressed up. I got some little sandals, jeans, and whatever on, but I'm telling him I'm not tripping because I'm not really looking for nobody, right? Like, I'm not here trying to please nobody. I'm good with what I got on. And he was like, okay, just chill. I'll buy you a few drinks or whatever. And I love to dance. So, I was dancing and just having a good time chilling. And lo and behold, who's sitting on the wall over there, leaning up against the wall, propped up?
Ah, shoot.
player. And so I looked at him, but I was like, in San Diego, we got this thing like where in my area, I was raised at. I was a product of my environment, and it was thuggish and street. So it was like, if you seen a dude that was pretty, you would think they were gay or they don't like women or ain't no way he gonna like you because he too into himself. And that's why a lot of pretty girls like thuggish dudes, because it was just they were just a product of their environment, right? And although I thought he was a beautiful man, literally at the time where I was at, I wasn't even thinking this dude is gonna like me, even though I saw him. Like, I was like, dang, right? And I don't know if I think maybe once in my life I've ever really been like, wow, this man is gorgeous, like his name. And so I'm dancing on the floor, and then he comes and taps my shoulder and asks me to dance. And that was it. We talked that night. Literally, people who were there thought we were together already. And he had left, gave him my number. I never give nobody my number. Even my friend I was there with did not have my phone number. It was verbal communication because he worked down the street. So,
So what made you like? You can have my number. What was it?
It was the conversation and what he was saying to me. It was like things that guys don't pay attention to in a woman. It was like he knew exactly what to say to me. One was, I was super hairy. Like, when I say hairy, I mean hairy, like hair. And he just so happened to love hairy women. And he made a comment about the hairs on my arms. I ain't gonna go no further than that. But I was like, okay, and just the conversation in itself, it wasn't about him, it was about me. And I usually, dudes don't talk. When I've never met a dude that knew how to talk to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And just his conversation within that, hour and a half, 2 hours was like, dang, right? But where I was at in my life, even though I gave him my number, it was something like, I don't even know what led me. I think it was the conversation and his actual interest in me as a person, right? I didn't feel like he was just trying to get in my pants. I literally felt like, this guy, like, wow, it's something different about him, but I couldn't pinpoint it at the time, right? Because we could say it was game or whatever. I didn't feel that way. It was an experience I never had. I gave him my number. A week later, he calls me. We talked for a whole week on the phone. That whole week changed the trajectory of my whole life. And after he came over, that was it. He never left. But that week of talking, the intimacy, him being so transparent with his life, what was going on. And then him coming, he even had a girl at the time. She came. I mean, it was like this whole thing, this dynamic that was working was something that it was like spiritual to me, but I really wasn't understanding it. And I was like, this is crazy. I gave him my number. He called me, and it was funny because when he called, I didn't remember I gave him my number. And he was like, you can't forget that you gave me your number. You know him. You can't forget this game. And I was like, it wasn't that. It was just that, I had 3 kids. So it's like I had a lot going on in my life to stop and think if a guy was going to call me, especially after a week. It was like, I wasn't even really thinking he was going to call me. I just thought he just, whatever. From that point, with getting the information that he was giving me at the time, like I said, within that whole week, I was already like, whatever. Like, I wonder what this man wants. I know he was leaving the game, and I know he was going to be arrested. He told me everything that, he was not running from the police, but not trying to be arrested at that time. And just being transparent with me about everything he was into at that moment and what he was trying to do, which was wanting to not to get out of the game. And that right there, I have never seen that amount of transparency in my entire life, not even from my father, mother, anybody in my life. I've never seen nothing like that before. And I was just taken with it. I like that thing right there let me know that if this man could tell me the truth about his life, what he's going through, man. And when he said these words to me, I had cooked him dinner one day, and we were just talking, and he said, literally, all I've ever wanted in my life is a woman who would listen to me and do what I say, and I will give her the world. And I was like, nonchalantly, like, I could do that. Like, literally in my life, that's all I've been trying to do, and also get that reciprocated. Because when he said, I'll give her the world, it was like, a man don't tell you that. It's like, I want you to submit. But then you're getting nothing back from this person, right? So it was like, I've submitted. Like, I've felt like I've given people everything, but I really didn't, because in my previous relationships, I never submitted.
Right.
I was always a dogmatic person about, I might be giving you my body, but you're not going to run me, like that part. Like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm not listening to you. It was never even a question with my husband if I was going to listen to him. It was straight submission from the start.
So was it that transparency that allowed that?
It was
just that ultimate being the truth.
Yeah, because once he told me and like broke down his life, when I start meeting the other women from his past and his children's mothers and stuff, I start seeing that exactly what he told me is how it went down, the reasons why they weren't together. And it was never his fault. He always followed through with who he said he was.
Right.
It was them who didn't. So just as I was moving along, I was able to see that everything this man told me, everything he said he was, he is. And it just, one, it makes you trust a person, right? So I knew I could trust him with my life. It wasn't even a question at all. I knew I could submit to him. I knew I could listen to this man and do what he tells me to do. He's the one who came into my life, and within, I think, the first couple of weeks, taught me how to value myself, because I had been through so much growing up. I always blamed it on other people, but in the beginning, it might have been their fault. But then I turned into a demon because I started being the person that they were to me to other people. So I start being the aggressor. I start, talking crazy to people when I'm out if they're just looking at me.
Right.
And I told him, like, I feel like I'm gonna go through this for the rest of my life. He told me one simple thing. He said, do me a favor. And he recognized it because the first night I met him, it's crowded in the club. Somebody stepped on my foot and I just went off. I was cussing, cussed the person out. And he was like, baby, just, it's all right, because it's crowded in here. Everybody might bump into you. And I'm still going off. Well, I don't care. They need to watch out and whatever. And he even told himself, well, if I get with this one, I got a lot of work to do, but I'm capable.
Yeah.
Because I was
That's
that
powerful
person.
to say.
It is.
Yeah.
He said that. But he said to me, when you go out and people are looking or you make eye contact, just smile. That's it. Just smile. Because I never did. I had that mean mug, resting bee face when people used to always tell me to smile. And I'd be like, what for?
Right.
Because the trauma from my past was so great.
So I wanted to ask that. So when did that trauma start?
Oh, it started, I think it really started in middle school. From girls in different ethnicities and then different variations of black, the color, and light skin, dark skin, and all that. And it was like I was attacked everywhere. It was ridiculous. Like I couldn't go to the skating rink, I couldn't go to the mall, I couldn't get on the bus, I couldn't do anything because everywhere I went, girls wanted to fight. And to me, it was crazy because I was a very loving, kind person. Although I was a fighter, it was those situations that made me a fighter, because I was not that person, but it created that person in me, and it made me a very bitter and angry woman when I grew up. And that thing made me hate myself. It made me hate my beauty, who I was, value myself. If when I grew up, when people would tell me I was pretty, I'd just be like, whatever, So those things literally made me hate myself. I stopped wanting to go places because I literally told him, I feel like as an adult, I'm going to go through this for the rest of my life, because I didn't know how to control it, because I kept blaming other people. But he told me it was me. And I got mad at him because I was like, well, then you don't understand everything I explained to you, that I went through, all the trauma that made me this person, and it's still going on. He said, just listen to me. He said, it is you. It was them then, but you kept it going because now you're taking out what other people did to you on everybody else. So when you go out, just smile. Don't ask for nothing else. If they looking at you, just smile. Don't ask them what they looking at, because that was my question. Like, what you looking at? And it would be what it'd be some cuss words in there. So I wasn't not a very nice person. And everybody who was looking at me literally thought, like, if I ask them what you looking at, and they say, oh, because you're so pretty, or your hair is pretty, or your eyes, or whatever, I just roll my eyes and walk away, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't even appreciate it, right? Because I could not appreciate me. It was like it was taken from me, but then I was giving it away now. And when he told me that one simple thing, the next time I went to the grocery store, I did it and I got it back. And like I just kept doing it, and I kept getting the reciprocation back. It was like everybody I smiled at me, and they would just tell me, "Man, you're so beautiful," and I'd be like, "Thank you." I learned to say thank you because I never said thank you. It was like whatever. Probably that's probably not what they're thinking. They probably thinking something else. They just saying that, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it took me a while, and then I learned that I was in control of how my life went. Every day when I go out, how I respond and react with people, whatever I give is what I'm gonna get back. And even if I don't get it back, now I can understand that person might have went through some trauma in their life. Like they say, Black women always angry. We know what that anger comes from. Now I've learned that as I'm older, the Jim Crow letter, how they put light skin, dark skin against each other. Why to this day, black skin hate light skin, right?
That's crazy.
How they make dark skinned women ugly and all this kind of stuff. And the more white you look, the prettier you are. That was something that was put together on purpose to keep us separated to this day. But see, I didn't know that. So when I learned that in my later age, because I was probably literally when I learned this thing, it might have been 10 years ago. Literally, if you read that letter verbatim, you will see what they put together and what they created, what they put out to happen for the long run. And it's crazy because now that I have the information, I can talk to other Black women and school them on why you feel this way to this day and what the system has assimilated us to be and how we continue that because it was their plan from the gate when they wrote that letter, right? And it's crazy because we don't look at it because, they assimilated us and raised us in the system to be that way. And because we've been that way for so long since we were enslaved, now the enslavement continues because we're continuing the very thing they put in the plan. But if we don't educate our Black women and men, because it happens with men too, but not as much. But the women is crazy because I've even had one of my best friends say she didn't want to go out with me to the beach because, and mind you, she was gorgeous, right? I mean, absolutely stunning. And when she was around me, she felt less than. She said, I don't want to go because I feel like dude's going to be talking to you and not me. And I literally had to have a talk with her about what I felt about her and how she should feel about herself. But how could she? Because that's what they instituted, right? So, and it continues to this day. So that very thing had me caught up until I was 27.
You was operating like that?
Till I was 27.
Wow.
So, I mean, then, like I said, when I start operating, my whole life changed. My whole life changed. I was in control of everything. I had the choice to go back to that and get that back, or I had the choice to make everybody be the loving person and get that back, get what I give, right? And it's beautiful because we do have the control. And if we don't, you still be who you are, and allow that other person, whatever they going through, to go through what they're going through, but not allow it to come on you.
Yeah. That's powerful. So when you said Athena and now you got Dove, so the empowerment, because I know you talked about like that first, that second week when you said Dre started to develop the value into you. What was like that thing that was like, okay, this is what's going to elevate me to the next level? I know you talked about the whole, you was going through, the feistiness and stuff like that. So what was that, once you conquered that, what was that next level look like?
The next level was pretty much me operating in that. Because he used to say the first person who gets angry loses. So my thing was always anger and bitterness. And when I learned to control that, then whatever he has given me to produce and to put out and to implement, I'm able to do it without no matter how somebody else is going to receive it, right? Because it's who I am, right? So it's like, okay, you're past the anger, and mind you, things would happen every now and again. But as I was moving forward, I was seeing how much energy was being put into that, and then seeing what it created. Like these days, people will kill you over words, right? There's been times I'm pretty sure the Holy Ghost probably saved me from situations because of my mouth. And I learned that with the Spirit and our relief doctrine, and the Most High and this information, you can pretty much quell anything. And so with that information, I learned that when I'm putting forth this information and I'm implementing, when you're a leader and you're in this information, there's certain requirements, right? And so at that time, I was going through the salting phase, and that thing definitely had to be salted, because yes, in this arena, when the Most High sends somebody, you can't pick and choose who you have to give this information to. Somebody could be rude, somebody could be going through something, and recently just not learning that, but understanding that people can come to you in many ways. You can't choose how somebody has to come to you. If somebody comes to you rude, kill them with kindness. You ain't got to minister, but you don't have to receive that either. And if you're kind, that person may come back and apologize. And if they don't, they might be having a bad day. But just understanding that with this information and being a leader, there's requirements of a leader, right? Like we can't just be any kind of way when we want to. And that's what I look at. And the difference between Athena and Dove is like, so we met in 1998. I believe it was 2013-14. We're going to an event at a church of someone that my husband mentored. And we were getting out the car, and he would usually say, okay, come on, love, or something like that. But then he said, okay, come on, Dove. And he was like, Dove? Like, it just came out like that. And he was like, okay, that's going to be your new name for me, Dove. We get in the church, and the minister is ministering about the Holy Ghost coming down as a dove. And we just looked at each other and was like, okay, Holy Ghost, I see. And I start, looking into what dove means, the Holy Ghost coming down at that time, regeneration, all these different things that meant, like in Hebrew and everything else. I just started researching, and it made a lot of sense. But it was beautiful because the Holy Ghost and the Most High talks to me, and I've had dreams and I've seen stuff, but it's like the things that he's given me, it was understandable, but even to this day, it's something special because I know the Holy Ghost did that. And so I'm like, wow, that name Dove wasn't just something that he gave me. It was something that the Holy Ghost put in his mouth, and then let us know that it was confirmation. And we looked at each other and we was like, what? Like, are you serious? So just coming that far in the information and the things that had to be chiseled into first, right, was first me valuing myself, right, because I did not. And then starting to go into everything else, because right off the bat, it wasn't God this, the Most High that, and and all this. It even though it was in his conversation, it wasn't like he's trying to, because it's the information is the information,
right.
And in my life, I always wanted to know the Most High anyway, like that. Like, I've been to many churches and whatever, and it was just like, I really didn't feel like the people believed. I never felt like they believed. I always felt like they were still trying to find themselves in the church. And these are elderly people that it seemed like they just not convinced. They just never seemed convinced to me. And I'm like, I know there's a Most High God. And when he came, it was just like, boom, Now I'm getting just everything. Like everything is coming to me in one full package. And it was crazy because that's how it came, in one full package. And it was just mind blowing.
So why do you think that came to you? Like, why do you like what set? Because I know you talked about belief, but what kind of belief was that you think the Most High had to just pour that down into you? Like, I want you to believe that I actually
just
do
think
exist.
It was where I was at in my life. I know he told my husband before, you know, I want people. I think I forgot how the beginning goes. People before me broken as though they were dead, and at that place I was dead.
Oh, my desires that
would
people,
be broken
yeah.
before me as though they were dead. And so it's like at that point I was dead, trying to kill myself twice, looking at, you know, my situation and circumstances in my life and not liking it, feeling like I was going to be there forever, feeling like nothing was ever going to change, feeling like if this is what life is, I don't want no more of it. At 27, I didn't want no more. I didn't want to be here. And it was like the person that I was, even though I felt like I deserved better, or well, I did feel like I deserved better than what I had, but I felt like it didn't exist, right, outside of that, because you keep running into the same types of people, and not knowing it was just me and what I didn't have, right? And so when you're a product of your environment and you're looking around and you're seeing everybody in the same situation, you're not looking at yourself as being so much different. But if you go outside of that, you will, you know. So it's like, if this is what all there is for to offer me, I don't want it. You know, I just don't want it. And so that was pretty much that part, you know. Like I was like, I'm good with this. And then I forgot what you were saying after that, but
oh no, you good. So that broken process happened at 27. And
yeah,
you think that's when
it was
like you hit
before
your
that.
end.
But
Yeah.
that was at like maybe a few months before that. That was my end. That was my end. And the Most High didn't allow me to take myself out of here. I just believe that He chose me, and I knew, and I felt like after I started getting the information from my husband, then I realized, like, I know He chose me. Right? I knew He chose me because of where I was at, because I was able to receive the information, because of where I was at. The way things happened, the person I was with was locked up. There was nobody to intervene. And I was just open and everything was perfect, right? So it was like, because everything lined up so perfectly and how it was going and the things that were being said, and, you know, just listening, like at that time, it was almost like, at this point, I'm ready for whatever, and this probably gonna be my last try. This my last go round, because I'm like, you know, I was just at that point, you know. But it was just like everything was so perfect, and I didn't know where it was gonna go. I didn't feel like He was in love with me, and I just felt like in the beginning, like there was this chemistry, right? And there was chemistry, definitely. But I was like, I don't feel like He like is in love with me or nothing, but I'm about to see where this is gonna go. And how we were talking was like, we gon' it was more than that, because we were together, right? Because after He came and He was there, we was together, right? Because I was, whatever we about to do, we about to do it. And that's where I was at. But I didn't know that it was going to end up like being married and we was going to be here this long. Like, but after, I want to say after the police caught up with him, and I already knew I was going to be there. And then after that, I knew I was going to be there. So it wasn't that long after. So I want to say it was about not even a month. Because when I committed, I committed. And once I committed, it was over with. When he asked me that question, it was a done deal.